Dementia Researcher with a blog and a rating.
Hi everyone, and welcome to my first blog post for NIHR Dementia Researcher. I wanted my first blog to be somewhat a personal introduction to who I am and how I got into dementia research, followed by a second blog all about my research. My name's Connor Richardson, I'm 30 years old, and I'm an epidemiologist at Newcastle University Population Health Sciences Institute. I like to think of myself as an all-round academic. My main research interests are in population-level epidemiology of dementia. I primarily work on the large, multi-centre cognitive function ageing studies, or CFAS, with Professors Fiona Matthews at Newcastle and Carol Brain in Cambridge, among many others. I'm particularly interested in modelling dementia risk in populations and experimenting with machine learning. I'm also very involved with the wider university life. I teach lectures on ageing and dementia research, chronic disease epidemiology, and quantitative research methods. I also supervise a number of undergraduate and postgraduate students at Newcastle University and at Cambridge. Over the past years, I've become very involved in Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, or EDI, becoming Deputy Lead of the EDI in our Research Institute at Newcastle. In this role, I work with colleagues to influence the structure and running of the Institute to be more inclusive to those with protected characteristics, promote equality and diversity through the Institute by organising events and promoting research related to EDI. This is something I hope to discuss more in this blog, especially around my experience of fitting this role into research life as an early career researcher. I'm a born and bred Geordie. I grew up in a small ex-mining town in Northumberland called Ashington. The town's claim to fame is that it used to be the biggest mining village in the world. Science was always my passion. From a young age, I pursued a career in medicine. I gave up on medicine as my predicted A-level results weren't good enough, which now I'm very grateful for, as I would have made the world's worst doctor. I refocused on biomedical sciences, applying to Newcastle University through their Partners programme, a summer school for local areas with low representation in universities. The summer school had a big impact on me, highlighting issues that affect those from working class backgrounds in academia, something I now try to make a difference with through my work in EDI. I graduated in 2013, and although I loved my time and was still very interested in science and research, I fell out of love with working in the labs. I had two opposing experiences, one awful summer placement in a lab, and one brilliant experience in bioimaging as my dissertation. I think the awful experience won the day and put me off for good. I left university feeling a bit lost. In the end, I made a decision which made total sense to a 21-year-old Connor and moved to London with no money, job or direction. It actually turned out to be an amazing time, and probably the first time I felt like I had no pressure to achieve academically. One thing my time in London did give me was space to think about what I wanted to do. I realised I was still interested in science and research, but was more interested in health than biology. I decided to go back to Newcastle University to do an MSc in Public Health and Health Policy Research. During my MSc, I realised how much I enjoyed epidemiology and biostatistics. I'd always been interested in ageing, neuroscience and cognition, so I knew I wanted to do a dissertation project on dementia, with the hope of getting a PhD afterwards. So I asked around for a project supervisor and found Blossom Stefan. Bloss supervised my dissertation into measuring cognitive reserve in the 85+ study. She also supported me in applying for a PhD to study mild cognitive impairment, in CFAS working with her and Fiona Matthews. I started my PhD in 2015, which began my 7 years working with Fiona Matthews. I went straight into a postdoc position working with her on a range of studies including experimental RCT designs, dementia neuropathology and the impact of COVID-19 on older people's mental health, which more or less describes where I am now. Outside of research, I recently bought a house in Newcastle and filled it with two tiny dogs, Bailey, age 3, and Lyra, 1. Very cute Pomeranian toy poodle crosses, or Pomapoos. I love reading and gaming in my spare time. Recently I joined an LGBT running club, the Newcastle Frontrunners. And that is pretty much me. I hope you enjoyed this introduction to myself and what I do, and I hope you enjoy my upcoming blogs.
Thank you for listening. Join the Dementia Research bloggers and share your own views.